Well, that's part of the training is learning how to upload to YouTube.
Unless they're giving you shaking
Sure. I don't forget. You're recording.
Okay. I will, I guess, call the meeting to order, even though we started at 4:30. But today's Parks and Rec meeting is Monday, October 23rd. Roll call starting from my left, please.
Sue Krieger.
Melissa Rhodes.
Bob Barheit,
Jill Reese.
thank you. Certify the posting of the meeting. I have got it in my mailbox.
Others.
Oh, I can look it up on the drive. Hold on. I can look it up on the drive.
So as far as when the meeting started, would it be 4:30?
It's 4:30. Yep. So we're just continuing the meeting from the tour at the park.
Got it.
There we go. So I certify on Monday, October 16th, the agenda for the Town of Rome Parks and Rec meeting for Monday, October 23rd was posted at the Rome Town Hall at 8:35 a.m., posted at Quick Trip at 8:45 a.m., posted at Nakusa Port Edward State Bank at 8:50 a.m., and it was emailed to the Wisconsin Rapids Tribune at 8:30 a.m. Signed, Wendy Newsom, Deputy Clerk Treasurer.
Thank you. Can we have a motion to approve today's agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda?
A second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We have no citizen comments, so I will dispense with reading item number 5. Next item is no action contemplated except for possible referral to future agendas. Item 6, report on park planning and activities. Update on park planning activities. Construction is now complete, so we saw that in the tour that we just had, but for those of you watching, we are completed, and the first item that we're going to have at the band shell is going to be on June 7th. It'll be southbound, will be the band. It'll probably start at around 7 o'clock. The punch list is complete as far as any outstanding items that the contractor left at the band shell. The items that Brad and I identified are all completed, so we're good to go on that, and all we need to do is to reconcile the final bill with Eagle and pay it. We're scheduled to be on the Plan Commission meeting to present our new plans for the park as far as the location of the pickleball court and the basketball court. So we'll be over there on November the 14th, I believe.
Hearing this from November the 14th.
Grants, we do have the WEDC Vibrant Spaces grant that was given to us. $10,000 is going to go for the signage at the park entrance on, I can't remember the name of it. Timberline, yeah, Timberline Park, coming into the park over there. But we do have $25,000 for the band shell and $15,000 for other amenities, and I've kind of included that in our income statement that's I've shown you there and attached for next year. Possible discussion and action on the following items. Approval of our meeting minutes of September the 18th. Can we have a motion for that?
Also move. I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Nothing new on the comprehensive outdoor plan. I know that, what's his name? Jeff is working on it. We should have an initial draft of that in November, I believe.
I think he was waiting for the state's corp survey to be done, so I don't think you'll see an initial draft till first quarter of next year.
So probably February.
Yeah, first quarter of next year.
Okay. Okay, item 10. Walden Park Shoreline Planning Subcommittee report from Melissa. We do have a grant that has been awarded from Visit Rome.
Yep, we did
That's awesome.
receive a partial grant, and then we will receive $5,300 from Visit Rome, and which is half of what we requested. Dave will be submitting by November 15th the grant to the DNR, which having this will help with that grant. And he also did say, you may know more about this. He sent me an email saying that at the draft meeting last night, they are going to help raise funds for the project and focus on getting the funds for the trail portion to the kayak launch, which is $2,700.
He brought up about, he said around 2,000, but we at the meeting agreed to either fundraise or help with that portion of it.
Thank you.
That's super nice.
So
And
that,
Greg, our president, said that he would also write a letter, for the grant, just kind of a letter of support.
Letter of support, yep.
And I think too, for, whatever isn't made up by donations and things that draft might contribute, that the Parks and Rec would make up the difference too.
Yeah, it should be minimal at this point, but
So then we could look forward to hopefully getting that grant from the DNR approved and doing it in the spring or summer next year, right?
yeah, it would probably start in the spring and wouldn't finish till, it'd be a
Till we get
process.
water and electric over there at least, yeah.
Melissa, can you remind me, we did a resolution that's been through town board and you have that for attachment already?
Yes, I've already
Okay.
given that to, Dave already has that to submit.
Okay, anything else on item 10 there? Melissa?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I don't believe so. I gotta get a hold of Lisa about working on the sign. We
Okay,
do have some money left from the original, Visit Rome grant. Because we didn't do the gravel parking lot, the sign could probably get put in that. If there's any other little things, I'm sure we could use some of that money for that too, so. Matching funds.
and are we going to at least drive a stake in the ground for the CDA to see what the sign would look like?
Lisa and I would first have to even design it, I believe, but, I guess that would be up to us where we would want it. There's one there now. Would we just replace that one?
I'm thinking about in the same spot.
Yeah, I think you would just replace that one. But I know there's some interest that the park signage would then, so you would know you're in a town of Rome Park. So whatever this would
Yes.
look like, it would look similar to signage we'd put at Rome Town Center, at the disc golf park.
Yes, we wanted, and then we also, I think, we don't have to, but were we gonna include Visit Rome somewhere on the sign too?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could probably use the logo on there, something like that.
So that's why Lisa and I, well, she was gonna work on it with Jamie, but I guess Lisa and I will, kind of start working on something. I've gotta remember to get in
So
touch
it
with
says
Lisa.
waiting for CDA design template. What are we?
No, I think CDA just made the request that we would have the same,
Oh,
that the,
so they don't have an idea.
no.
We come up with an idea and we just get it approved throughout all the towns.
yeah.
So the one for the Rome Town Center has not been approved yet either. That's kind of what we've been working on, and we want them all to flow.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
The only the signage that was approved as part of the grant is that one on Timberline, and we're gonna rewrap it, cause it faded. The pillars, the big tall sign, the pillars faded. And
Okay.
so those are gonna be rewrapped, but that logo and stuff was just redone on that sign,
Oh, you're talking up by Highway 13.
by 13.
Okay.
Yes,
And
yeah, so
they've
that's,
updated the sign to include the brewery over there.
yep, they
I saw
have their
So
panel on it.
that main sign on Highway 13, the other ones around town will look similar to that? Is that what I'm hearing, or?
Potentially.
Okay.
So CDA talked about having a directional sign off of Geneva that would be kind of that sign but shrunk
Small,
down.
yeah.
We're not saying that the park signs have to look like that. We're just saying that the park sign should incorporate aspects
Park.
of town signage and then be the same so you know you're in a town of Rome Park. So it would make sense that maybe they would encompass like the greens and the oranges. And like the Rome Town Center sign has like that park bench and the wave for the water and the hill. So, we just want aspects so there would be similarities.
Where could we find, is that on on one of the drives somewhere? So
It is on the drive, but we can't access it because we don't have that software.
Okay.
That signage was done by
Rapid Sign?
nope. The logo and the design, and so you could take pieces out of it, was done by the designer in Adams. I apologize, her name's escaping me right now, but Visit Rome works with her all of the time. It's killing me now that I can't think of
That's
this.
all right.
But we have it, we just don't have that same digital system to open those files.
Okay.
Kathy Cuss.
Yep.
Kathy
That's
Cuss.
not bad. I thought it would be like an hour from now.
So Melissa, can you make sure that we get together with Lisa or whoever
Yeah.
else over there at Visit Rome and get at least something started on it?
Yes.
Okay. Item 11 then, Disc Golf Subcommittee, Committee Report, that'd be Sue Kruger probably.
Okay. Well, a couple things. We moved ahead with the survey with Badgerland, and I'm still waiting to get the date when they're going to be coming out there and staking the property. We've got the town attorney, thanks Melissa, reviewed the RFP, and there's some suggestions and updates for that. So I'd like to get the subcommittee together again to finalize the RFP. Last time we didn't get a lot of members there, so I'm trying to think of, I'll give them more lead time, but maybe that time of day wasn't good, or there's a lot going on right now.
Would it help if we did virtual too? If we offered a virtual option to join?
That actually would probably be great.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we can make a WebEx and offer a virtual option to be there also.
Okay.
Yeah. Cause yeah, it was just Dan Minter and
You and me.
I,
Yeah.
and well, Bill wasn't in. Well, I don't know if he's gonna even be on disc golf, but
How many people are on your subcommittee?
Well, we have Lori and we have Michelle,
Minter?
Dan Minter.
And there was some other lady, but I don't know if she's been to any of the meetings.
Oh, there was, she's with First Weber,
Yeah.
and she hasn't been to any of the meeting.
Cheryl?
Cheryl.
But I suppose once we get more into the
She got really busy this last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose once we get more into the design part, that
Yeah.
If Attorney Flanagan marked up the RFP
He
with
did.
his suggestions, you could just present that to the committee and say, hey, this is it, and if you have any changes, let us know, and then just go with it.
I think we could just email it out
All right.
Yeah.
and
You could.
everyone just reply back to
Yeah.
you.
That would be fine. Then maybe we could just
Move it along.
forego the meeting for,
And we can have the final approval on it here too, if everyone in the subcommittee, didn't we kind of say that before, like, subcommittee can give recommendation and then
Probably,
we
yeah.
should give the approval to move it forward to
Town board.
town board.
on board. All right. Okay, well then for
Do we
the,
have to have town board approval to send out an RFP? We haven't had that before.
I think there is interest in town board seeing the RFP, yes.
Does that hold for other RFPs too, or just this one?
I think there is interest in the town board seeing the RFP.
Okay.
all right, well then, I can send out the marked up draft to everybody, and then we can look at it for the next meeting, and then take it from there. Does that work for
Or we could
everybody?
give you our comments back in email, and then you could just put it on the agenda for the town board.
I think that the stuff that Nick changed was legal.
Legal
It's just
stuff.
minor.
Yeah, I don't know that it dramatically changed
Mhm.
the premise. I think he just,
Yeah, and I think those of us that were there said it was okay to move on and
Yeah.
for approval from here. I guess we should probably put our eyes on it one last time.
All right,
so.
that sounds good. Well then,
Email and then
email
move it
and
right
put-
onto the town board then?
okay.
And what agenda should we?
then if that's what the Parks Committee is saying, I would make a motion tonight that the final RFP will be sent to the subcommittee. Any minor changes would be completed. The Parks Committee, I would assume, I'm sorry, I wasn't at the last meeting, has seen it and is okay with it. Would be recommending it to forward it to the town board.
I'll make a motion to have the subcommittee take a look at it. And then after that is done, any small recommendations, then I recommend it move on to the town board.
I'll second the motion. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carries.
So Sue, once you have sent it to the subcommittee and you've given them a certain amount of time to look over it, then
Okay.
if you can forward it on to Melissa and I and say it's good to go for town board, we'll slot it for the next available agenda.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, item 12, pickleball initial planning. I don't know that there's much new. We have updated the plot plan, and we have also included on the plot plan just about everything that's out there in the park right now. And then we've included the pickleball courts as proposed, and also the sidewalk and the front sign there by Geneva Trail and Climbers Pass. So that circular sidewalk is proposed, as well as the pickleball courts. Most of the other things there, except for the sunshade, are portable. Like the Gaga pit is portable. I think the bags are portable, and as well as whatever other games there would be.
so your walking path I see on this drawing goes right over the drain field?
It
Wasn't that gonna be rerouted?
No, it's gonna have to go over part of the drain field. I think actually the drain field can be to the east of the walking path, is shown here right in the middle, but I think it could be further to the east, actually, is where it is. But for sure, if the walking path did go over the drain field, it wouldn't be a problem.
I don't know if we can do that or not, but sometimes you can cut those bent pipes down too.
Yeah, it's just the problem is there's 4 of them. We were gonna eliminate one of them, but there still would be 3 of them there that you'd have to
Okay.
have. Well, we can cut them all down so they're all equal and look right, because I think right now they're a little bit staggered up and
Oh,
down.
okay.
You talk to, we have like a fake rock over the ones by the gazebo, and that also works.
Yeah. It's not the best, but it does work. So I gave a copy of this to the landscaping person from Wilczek, and she's going to draw her plan on this plot plan, and then she'll have a key piece of paper that just explains what everything is there that she's putting on there. And this is the plan that I would present to the Plan Commission on the 14th. And it includes a 6-foot fence around the perimeter, and then a 6-foot fence dividing the pickleball courts from the basketball court. And then there would be a small fence inside, between the pickleball courts, about a 3-foot high fence, to keep balls from going between the 2 courts.
That waiting area,
Mm-hmm.
would that have access to both the basketball court and the pickleball court?
It's meant basically for the pickleball courts.
Okay.
So I think with what we decided last meeting, we're on course to kind of go with this as our plan without any changes. And we'll see if we can get it approved by the Plan Commission. Anything else? Any other comments on the pickleball planning, basketball planning? Okay. That brings us to item 13 then. Next steps to move forward with park development. I put together an income statement today. I was a little bit surprised that we would have enough money there. If we decided that's what we want to do, would be to go forward with the pickleball courts next year. And before we do that, we'll need an RFP to nail down the cost. But we are pretty close with,
So So on your expense list here, you have pickleball, 260.
16, yeah.
And that number was from,
That was from the actual construction costs over at Arrowhead. And then I inflated it, I think, 5 or 6% each year, so there's 6% compounded for 2 years there. And then I had an uncertainty factor that I put on there, I think, of $10,000. So that's how I came out to 216. But we need to, obviously, before we go forth with anything, any construction, we'll need an RFP. But I think, hopefully, we'll be inside that number. We're very close to it.
Regarding the Visit Rome grant, is it something we can reapply for in the spring?
Yeah, the Visit Rome grant that we put in was not approved, and the reason it wasn't approved was, number one, they didn't have enough money. They only had about 81,000.
Yes.
Number two, they wanted to see an updated cost. They wanted also to have the results of the core planning done, and of course, that's not done now. And they wanted to see that the plan was approved by the Plan Commission. Those were the
Okay.
3 or 4 caveats that they had. But we could do it out of hand. It's just that it would delay probably any landscaping that we would do. It doesn't preclude us from going forth and asking the Legacy Foundation for a grant. We could do that this fall even, but I need your guidance as to whether or not we should proceed with that or not. And if we put together a grant request from Legacy, 2024 is their last year of the 25,000 that they're giving us. So I guess we would ask them for something for 2025 for landscaping.
I think 24 is your last year of Visit Rome too, because they started a year earlier. So I think 24 is also your last year of Visit Rome.
So we should cross that off under 2025?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I guess I would defer to Melissa, but I don't have there's not 218 prior year in 2024.
Well, there would be, from this year, we had 95,000 carry over into this year. That's what we started out this year with. So we do have the Visit Rome grant of 25,000. We've got the Town of Rome's 30,000. And we've got the Legacy grant of 25,000.
I'm not disagreeing with those. I don't think that because we just did that spreadsheet. I don't know what I'm not sure what would make up the 218. Because those funds that came in this year were spent on the band shell. We'd have to sit down and look at those
Yeah,
numbers.
and I think those funds are in that $90-some thousand figure already.
Yeah, I could see
the
that.
carryover included,
No, I thought the carryover was exclusive of all the band shell expenses, because I thought we had that all taken care of in 2022.
We had reflected that there was 94,
Right.
but that would be after band shell expenses. That wouldn't be 23. That would be 24. So not 218.
We'll have to,
We'll just have to walk through that spreadsheet one more time.
Okay.
But then, yeah, no 25,000 from Visit Rome in 2025. I'm 99.9% positive their last one is 24.
Well, they go a year beyond.
But they started a year before.
If that's true, then we don't have a grant from Legacy Foundation next year either. Because they go beyond 1 year beyond the Legacy grant. I can check it over with Lisa to make sure, but
I'm gonna look in Workhorse.
I think she said 25 was the last year when I last talked to her.
Let me look.
and I can put my eyes on it again too. I might understand a little bit more of it now. Like I did that one in my first week.
Just looking to see what was the first year. So 2020 was the first year, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2025. No, 2020, 2024. I skipped a year there, didn't I?
They were doing 4 years, 2020 through 2024.
They have 125,000.
That's legacy.
No,
No,
Visit
Visit
Rome is
Rome.
125,000.
And legacy is 100.
2020 through 2024
5. So
through 2025. Okay.
Bob is right. 2025 is correct because they have it's 25,000, 5 years, 125,000.
Right, that's what I thought, okay.
Yep.
And the legacy grant ends next year.
Yep. Because they're 100,000,
Okay.
25,000 a year,
Mhm.
4 years. But we got 50,000 because of the delay in the project the first year, or the first time they donated.
But we
they gave
deferred
it.
25,000.
Yeah.
So it's still,
It was 50, 25, 25.
right, so it's 100 total.
Yeah.
So all we need to do to this income statement here is to add in the expenses that we're paying for the band shell this year, which I thought were 0. But obviously, I'm wrong.
Yeah, because most of it got paid this year, just because because of the delay of.
But when you computed that carryover number, I thought we took out whatever we were going to pay for the band shell.
But then we got the 94. So we knew we had another 94,000 coming in. But we'll sit down and look at it. Just to make sure that we have the same numbers.
Okay, so let's move on then to memorializing the park donors. I had them put together this donor plaque that's in your attachment here. There was one name on there that Jill pointed out shouldn't be on there, so I crossed that off. It's the last group of names on the left side there. Everything else is probably okay. And then, Jamie, you had a concern too about, we needed also on this sign to have something different for WEDC?
They need their logo. It can't be the words. It has to be their logo.
We have their logo though on that other plaque that they gave us.
Yeah, but that's their provided plaque. Per their contract, they provide a plaque, and if you do any signage, it has to be their logo, not the
Okay,
words.
so we would need to duplicate that plaque and put it next to this or whatever.
Or have it be their logo instead of the
Name?
name.
Okay.
But they want it to be their logo, not the words.
So we could take off the WEDC Economic Development Corporate, and we could actually put their logo there at the bottom?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then are you thinking that this would be what would be mounted to the stone wall?
Well, Jill had some suggestions last meeting about what the sign ought to look like in general, and she gave us some things here. I guess we need to add that and talk about that a little bit, but I like the idea of this brass plaque. I think it looks real nice. To put it on individual leaves would be much more expensive than this.
Even if they were just like little square something.
I think so.
I mean, it doesn't have to create a tree. I mean, we could put them on a brick wall in the shape of a tree, right? But I don't know what it costs to, you know, just do.
Are we going to still take donations where there could be some added? That's the only thing.
That was what I was concerned about with doing this.
believe it.
This is done.
It's gonna be in the tax flyer again, right?
Yeah, but if we went with the cement wall kind of a sign that we originally talked about, this could be mounted on the lower left, and then there could be another one 3 years hence, if we had more donations that we wanted to memorialize and make another plaque.
I guess I was picturing the brick wall that would incorporate the sign for the park, right?
Right.
And then under it, and somewhere on there, like on the main sign, say thank you to our donors, and then you can add individual donors below, you know.
And if we do the sign, some of them, you could do going off two directions, and then you could have both sides of it too, right? It depends on where we plan on placing it.
Right.
Is it on
I
a
think
corner?
and I pictured it kind of landscaped around the sign too. Is there gonna be some kind of landscaping around the sign?
Yeah, you know, that one that we talked about before, I think I can probably dig out a picture, but it had a planter in front of it. And we could, you know, plant flowers in there, or perennials that would come up every year, and
But that wasn't talked about with the landscape company?
Is that some,
Velasic? Did you talk to them about
I didn't
landscaping
talk to
around
him
the
about
sign?
landscaping around the sign, cause I
Okay.
thought there'd be a planter with it.
I kinda wonder if it is,
It doesn't have to be this extravagant, but
if it's gonna incorporate the town park sign too right there, maybe we should hold off till we have that figured out.
Well, we
I think it
could,
all has to be done at the same time.
yeah, we could put like a park logo at the top, and then underneath that say, welcome to Rome Town Center Park, and then put however you want to memorialize people at the bottom.
We should have, when we were over there, looked where it was gonna be placed. Whereabouts was it gonna be
It's
placed?
gonna be in the corner by the splash pad.
Yeah, on that little rise there by Geneva Trail and Climbers Pass, there's a rise right there.
Actually,
So-
you have it on the drawing, don't you?
Yeah, it's on the drawing.
Up in this corner up here, right?
Yep.
Okay, so could that be a two-sided, like? a sign?
Absolutely, it could.
Yeah, so it could be a sign that goes like, you know, or, you know, like this, so you can use this side of the sign and this side of the sign
It's gonna cost more.
without all that brick over there.
It still costs money to lay it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And put something on it. Well, that's why I was waiting for, I thought we were gonna get some kind of template, an idea from CDA or whoever's designing the sign, but if we can come up with elements of the sign ourselves.
Yes. Throwing these colors, these ideas in, and incorporating what's,
Yeah, not to throw another idea out there, I apologize, but another thought that might be, different and maybe is not as expensive as the ordering the individual pieces for the tree is what happens if you contacted Kiba, who did our mural, and he painted it, and then he could paint the names on it. And then if you had more names, I mean, he would just, you could have them add it.
could he paint on brick?
I don't think that would be very lasting.
Well,
Just do it like the mural. The mural is meant to last.
he 10 years with the seal coating for UV. But it just, I don't, the thought occurred to me about if you wanted to add people, if he painted the tree on there, and then he could be like, oh, here's another little happy tree. Like,
Well, we kind of, we're discounting the idea of a tree at our last meeting because
Oh.
the one that I showed at least didn't resemble any kind of a tree that's in the park or even in town here.
It was expensive to do each of those little.
Well, it was a cost thing,
Yeah.
right? But that doesn't mean, so my thought was, all you have to do is order the engraved things and put them on there in the shape of a tree.
Yeah,
Then all we have to hire is somebody that can cement or however you attach them to brick.
I think we need to go back to research.
I know the individual leaves that I had priced at one time were like $5,800 just for the leaves.
Yeah.
But
and
it was
that
a shape of a
defeats-
leaf.
It was a leaf, yeah.
Right. I'm just talking about a square,
Mhm.
a square.
And again, we gotta make it so that it doesn't outweigh the fact that someone donated the money.
Right, it has to be cheap, yes. And
cost effective.
I speak normal.
She speaks very well.
Right. So the cost too that you probably got from this plaque is probably only lettering. So when you add a logo, that's gonna change the cost. Because now you're adding, graphics.
I don't think it's gonna change it too much if we gave them the graphics to do,
This probably won't be installed until next year, right?
right?
Should we put it in our,
I think we
everybody
need,
do some
yes,
research?
I think we need to include this in our sign discussion. I mean, we can keep gathering ideas for our donors, but it has to be part of the
We
sign.
could have another subcommittee, but we almost need to get a logo going for all of our parks.
Yeah.
And they're coming through here, so maybe we need to get a few people together that work on that logo. And we work with Lisa, Jillian, CDA, maybe someone from each place could be on it and they could work on something. I mean, I don't know.
Well, Lisa and Jillian would have connections, right, as far as designers, and could assist with a designer that could put together a couple options. So that, I think, would be helpful on what it would look like, and that might lead to what all
However
the
you
other
do it,
pieces
I don't care. I would just,
I know.
I would just submit, let's get something in hand that we can work on in the spring and get an RFP out.
Yes, we'll definitely get it
But-
figured out.
From my research, this is the cheapest way to go. And I thought the brass plaque that we have over there on the,
turned out nice. It did.
And where's that one? Oh, is that the one with?
Right in the front.
right in the
on
front there.
banjo? Yeah.
I think
in the
it
front
came
of
out
the
real
banjo.
nice. And this would look
Oh, gotcha.
as good as that.
Okay.
So I don't know. You do whatever you,
But why couldn't that one go on the band shell too? I mean, or, cause it's for the whole park,
for the whole park.
okay.
What was the size of this?
I don't know. It's probably 18 by 24 would be my guess.
And there's no reason we can't use that, but I think we should put what it's gonna go on first.
Yeah, I think,
If you want to, go back and ask them about adding a logo for that weed
Sure.
egg, and just see what the cost changes.
I will.
And then did the Rhapsody Notes ones get on here too? For Rhapsody Notes?
Yeah. It's alphabetical, so. It might be Rumtown Players.
Yeah, I bet that's
Oh,
it.
Hometown Players are on there, yes. And the other thing is if it was gonna be mounted to the concrete block, finding a mason, organizing to get a mason that would, yeah.
With
And
the
we all, the lead time on a mason is a while.
The block that's out there now, is it gonna be moved to be secured for the winter, or is it just gonna stay?
Probably will stay there.
Yeah, the only thing, I'll get the additional price for adding the logo and taking off these other people here. Yeah, it'd be nice if you guys and Jillian and Lisa could come up with just like an umbrella sign for anything that the park does. And then underneath that, we can add welcome to Rumtown Center Park and whatever else we want for memorializing people.
Stevenson on the CDA?
Yep,
Okay.
she's the chair.
So maybe reach out to her and, like, we could all work together to come up.
You could, it's just, I don't, I'm not, the CDA's only piece of that is that they wanted to have that directional signage. So,
She could lead us in the right.
well, if she, I guess what I'm saying, if she would say, it would be up to her if she wanted to join.
Okay.
The only piece of their signage is that they wanna have a directional sign on the corner of Geneva and Alpine. They didn't express that they needed to join, but if they wanted to, that's great.
Doesn't hurt to communicate.
Yes, absolutely.
I do believe one should be on there too, cause like pointing someone to the park the other day, it was like, oh, right behind Quick Trip, by that church, there's a road.
Yeah, which is why
Yeah.
there's a nice one off of 13, it makes sense that there would be another
Yes.
smaller sign there. So they're having that conversation. And it makes sense if they're having that conversation and that's where the crossover came, just if we're gonna be doing signage, having similarities.
Okay.
Okay, so I will get a price for updating that sign with a logo. I will get a price from the sprinkler guy for extending our sprinkler system for the rest of the park over there. And I guess we'll see where we go with the finances,
And we'll,
hopefully at next meeting.
Do you see Lisa often from Visit Rome, or otherwise I can get a hold of her too? and
She'll be
just-
here tomorrow for another meeting, so we'll ask her while she's here.
oh, okay.
Okay, we talked over there at the band show about planting grass seed up to the sidewalk there on either side. So that's something that we could probably carry on with in the spring. And I was thinking that could be a volunteer day. If we got all the grass seed and the fertilizer and the straw that we need to go over, we could rake it out ourselves and plant that grass seed. And if we had a group of volunteers like we had cleaning up the roots and things over there, you could probably get that done in a couple hours. So I was kind of thinking in the spring we could do that with volunteers. And I was tagging Brad with finishing the nature path, killing the weeds and crushing it with stone, so.
Did we, I can't remember, did we discuss the option of maybe putting the crushed, not crushed, but, the bark down instead? Or did we not wanna go that route?
I don't think you want to go that route. The bark floats, so if you have a heavy rainstorm, it's going to drift away.
Okay,
And I don't think you can get a wheelchair across the bark,
that's true.
so
Okay.
I think you can buy crushed
Crushed
limestone
fines.
around here like we can in Illinois.
You can get it at Seven Sisters, they
Yeah.
have, 3/8 inch, and then
That's-
there's
that's what we
one
need,
other
something like that.
size, too, so.
So I will task Brad with doing that, and I will remind him to winterize the band shell. I have it on here, in fact. Okay, so that's good for item 13. Item 14 is the winterization of the band shell, and we'll ask Brad to do that. Make sure, I know he's got it on his radar, but I just want to make sure that it gets done. Item 15, the transient non-community water system update. It is possible to do, and it is possible that in a year or two you would save money, but it would require $15,000 for a new pump to be put in. It would be a two-stage pump, so the first stage would be only for the sprinkler system, and then after the sprinkling was done in the morning, you'd switch it to stage 2 for the band shell, and that would be available to pump 610 gallons per minute, I guess. 110, I think it was 110 gallons.
Remind me again, what do we spend on water?
30,000 plus?
I think it was 24,000 this past year. 24,
No.
25,000.
Closer to 30.
No, it's not. I just, it's between 24 and 25,000.
Well, I'm done with this anyway, so,
I mean, if you encompass the gazebo building in that too, then maybe, but just the splash pad alone is.
I had 25,000, then I was told it was 30, so I don't know.
I mean, we have, what, 30, I'd have to just look at Parks budget, but, slightly over $30,000 of levy, and that's what covers that cost is the water and a little bit of the maintenance for that area.
But anyway, I would take this off. I'm done with it. There's no political will to do it that I can find.
I guess,
I'm all right with that. I mean, we can revisit, and I don't think it's a bad
and
idea.
I guess too, maybe find if anyone else uses it that way, and then you've got something to show, you know?
Any other splash pad, I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Most all the other splash pads are on a municipal
In
water
town,
system.
Yeah.
So, I know there was a conversation about, we don't have it, cause we don't have commercial rating, like if you use more water, there'd be a discount, but at some point, if we went through a change in rating and we had other commercial customers, we could maybe do if you use more, there would be some
Okay.
discount, but, yeah. So I reflect splash pad water this year cost us $26,162. And this year there was $30,000 of levy in the parks budget. Next year there's $35,650 of levy in the parks budget.
All right, we've pretty much covered item 16, I believe, for the park entrance sign. And we'll keep that on the agenda for next time. Item 17, we talked about at last meeting, the possibility of moving up the swap meet to February or March so that it's not in competition with everything else going on Labor Day. If you think that's a good idea, we'll carry this on so that we don't forget about it.
Or don't know about winter. I was thinking more spring. I don't know. What do you think, Jill?
Honestly, I think probably the best turnout you'd get. I mean, I like the Labor Day weekend because that's like when people are putting their stuff away and they want to get rid of it. Probably the best turnout, which would be tough to do, would be in the middle of the summer. Like a busy weekend, people are realizing they're not using this or they're looking for this, so that
But the drop off was
But,
another
yeah,
thing. We need
it-
something,
More time for drop
a
off.
drop off spot.
I think if we had more options for drop off, I think the Labor Day weekend is still a good weekend. to
I
do it.
really think, I know it's totally separate from the town of Rome, but where Choose to Reuse is, if there was a site, a spot out at the transfer site.
Now you're in competition with Choose to Reuse, though. I mean,
But we're
They're not
making money,
raising- they're
they're
not
giving
raising
it
money.
away.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think we just take a trailer over there the weekend before and say,
And there's no reason
us
that
what you
Choose to
got.
Reuse couldn't put some stuff aside that would go to the, I don't know.
I don't know how
Is
they
that a
work, I
question
don't
for
know.
Brad about,
Choose to Reuse is run by volunteers, so
But
you'd
like-
have to contact the volunteers.
but what about just having a spot out there near the house, the
But
little
you'd still
office?
have to have volunteers running it.
Yeah.
And I think you'd have to, traffic there it would get tight too. On a busy transfer site day.
I really, honestly, I think it's not the date. I think you just need to get more of the town
Donations.
aware of dropping off their items.
But we
And-
need more time for them to drop that
And
off.
then we also need a place then. So
Yeah.
if we can figure that out, I think the Labor Day weekend is still probably the best. Because people are rummage sailing, I think we had traffic, we just didn't have stuff to sell.
Well, could we use the community room for a week ahead of Labor Day for starting the drop off? I mean,
I would think so. We're gonna do the remodeling in there next year. It remains to be seen how contractors will be scheduled, but I would think that there would be a corner that you could start to collect items, yes.
just leave it on the stage.
Stage won't be there when remodeling's done.
And take the stage out?
Stage will be gone,
Ooh, I didn't know that.
cause that's a lot of extra flooring. It's a lot of extra available space.
A nice little enclosed trailer would be.
Is there gonna be any little bit of a stage, so if, when people wanna talk, they can stand up there and,
We talked about that maybe, something that would be more portable, so we could be flexible with utilizing that space.
yeah, like a elevated podium or something like that?
Yeah. So but I would think to collect a week or two beforehand, you could use a corner to just put things in for a moment of time. It's not gonna be there permanently. Or even if the kitchen was, you could put it in the corner in the kitchen just to hold it.
Yes,
Um,
as long as there's no events, which we should be okay.
Yeah.
And then they could drop them off from 8 o'clock in the morning until
Yeah, just maybe the week before.
4 o'clock at night, because then there's somebody here that would be able to.
Then
take
we
care of
could
that.
even hit some of the events, the couple weeks leading up to there, and advertise, say,
Like you said, like we could go to
Camelot.
Camelot's thing and say we will be here collecting.
Right.
And if it
set a
doesn't,
trailer out there, you can donate your stuff and we'll just drop it
and
off.
if not, if they see it, then they're like, oh, this is coming up. We can hand them a flyer.
Did we have Visit Rome even advertise it this year? It did?
they had it on their calendar, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we.
so I think we can take that out. I don't think we
Create a
do it
Facebook
early in
event,
the
too.
year. I think we can take it off the agenda, but bring it back. when
For
it
September?
Yeah, when it start, time,
Everybody's okay with that? I am.
Yeah, we'll start talking about it.
what,
maybe-
July or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we'll bring it back in July then, or June.
Yeah,
So we-
June or July.
June, probably let's say June. We can always push it off then if we're not ready.
Okay, before we go on to item 18, Brian, is there anything you wanted to add? You've been sitting here listening to this.
I'm just soaking stuff in.
You sure? All right, thanks. Okay, any new agenda items then for next meeting?
Just the sign design, we'll keep that on there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to we'll try to, between then and now, get the budget figured out.
Yeah.
Should I start working on the RFP for the disc golf course? Or not disc golf course, for the
Pickleball courts?
pickleball course?
That'd be great if you could start it.
Okay,
Awesome.
I'll help you if you want.
okay, oh, yeah.
You're a pro at it now.
Oh, I wouldn't know, no.
She's
no,
got a
no.
little template. All she's gotta do is find this and replace with that.
That's awesome. Don't even know where to start.
Well,
Okay.
let's see.
Item 19 then is proposed next meeting time and date. I propose that it would be Monday, November 13th. Everybody okay with that?
Is that open?
Okay. That concludes our meeting then. Thank you very much. We're adjourned.